Welcome to NYU Stern's EBS Weekly Report. I'm Natacha, VP of External Affairs.
And I am Frédéric, same role for MBA tools.
In today's agenda, we'll cover three main topics. We'll start with the resignation of the Egyptian president, and then discuss the situation in the M&A exchange world, and finally we'll briefly tackle some interesting development that happened last week. On February 11th, Mubarak ended his 30-year rule and handed over power to the military after 18 days of protests.
Yeah, and on top of that, after setting his seats on fire, Mubarak saw his assets frozen effective immediately for the next 3 years. A pretty cool week for the former Egyptian ruler.
Coming back to the main point, the dollar strengthened. The NYMEX reached a low of $85.5 a barrel, and the Egyptian ETF surged on the news of Mubarak's resignation.
Yeah, but it's not about Egypt alone. The whole region is concerned. The people there are feeling a domino effect, and all the governments are sweating.
Exactly, so monitor the situation in Algeria, in Yemen, perhaps also in Libya, Iran, Bahrain, Morocco, Sudan, or even Syria, because developments will start as early as the next couple of days. Now let's come back to developed countries where there seems to be a new wave of mergers in the world of exchanges. Not only the agreed merger of the London Stock Exchange with the Canadian TMX, but also advanced talks between Deutsche Börse and NYSE Euronext in a combination that would create one of the largest stocks and derivatives trading platforms.
Okay, they call it a merger, but
yeah.
60% of the new entity is going to be German. So I don't see how the New York Stock Exchange is going to benefit from that. And for me, it doesn't really pass the smell test. Can you develop on that?
Well, maybe Deutsche Börse advisors, being Deutsche Bank and JP Morgan, did a pretty good job at it, but more seriously, having a lower tax rate and not being taxed on a worldwide basis, as is the case in the US, is a pretty good incentive to me. Don't forget that they're most likely putting Duncan Niederauer as CEO of the merged entity, so in other words, the US is not losing control per se.
As for the US economy, given the improved metrics and numbers, Fed's chairman Ben Bernanke said that he will continuously monitor the use of QE2 and pull the rings should the economy call for it.
Last but not least, in a word of rates, the Bank of England kept interest rates unchanged at 0.5%, whereas China increased both its lending and deposits one-year rate by 0.25% in order to curb inflation. Well, that's it for the last days. Thank you for watching our EBS Weekly Report. You can now also follow us on Twitter at NYU Stern EBS, all in one word. We wish you a successful week. Thank you for watching us.